Hello, Genie OK Boomer here. Welcome to this week's vlog. If you hear a little noise in the background, that's because I've got a little space heater going because it's cold here in Tennessee where I am right now. And I guess this is my cue for a short little rant before we get to today's subject because, well, it's the cost of energy. It wasn't like this when I was a kid. And well, first of all, there was no Joe Biden when I was a kid. That's going to be today's subject, Joe Biden. Haven't done an update. Well, this particular update. Anyways, he's deliberately cutting oil production, I just heard today, talking head on TV, about 4,000 oil wells that have been shut down by Joe Biden. We're depending upon people overseas for our oil. The prices are going up, and I am right now speaking with a little space heater in the room. I just shivered there for a second if you saw it. It's cold here. And I have in my office right next door, my little home office, a heater going, a little bigger one, but a heater going. What I don't have is a whole house. Well, actually, my house has an upstairs central heater and a downstairs central heater, so at least I don't have to heat the whole place at once, and sometimes I'll turn that on. The whole point is, when I was a kid, I don't remember this problem with energy and the price of energy. We had oil heat. Guy would come with that big tanker truck and fill the tank, underground tank, with oil. Not underground, you know, the one in the basement. And we would turn as soon as it got cold, winter came, you turn the thermostat on, and you just left it on until spring, till it got warm again. I don't remember turning the thermostat on and off. Maybe a couple of times. Maybe I was too young to pay attention. But I don't remember anything like that. I remember, in fact, when I started driving, I remember 35 cents a gallon for gas. And I guess if you adjust for inflation, maybe it would be $1.50 today. I don't know. I could look that up, actually. Maybe if I could think of it, I'll do it after the vlog. And put a little sign here on a little caption on the screen to adjust that for today, what it would cost. Maybe with inflation, maybe it would even cost more. But we'll find out. Anyways, today we're doing a new series. Now, I had been doing Joe Biden dementia update. Oh, and another little preview. I've got a special bonus video at the end that you'll want to stick around for. Very informative, interesting video. But for now, the video I'm about to show you, a much shorter one, but I've done failed presidency updates in the past, I think. I know I've done a Joe Biden dementia update, one or two in the past. So, but this, he just gets worse and worse and worse, and we just get into deeper and deeper. Well, as George Bush Sr. Used to say doo-doo. We're in deep doo-doo now, and there's more doo-doo, and we're getting deeper into it. So I'm doing today for the first time a pathetic, senile, failed president update. And this is going to be the Nurse Jill edition. That would be Jill Biden, because Joe Biden gave a speech the other day, and just an idea. I had a back and forth with a commenter some time ago. Usually I just leave the comments there because I figure it's up to you to say what you want. I have this whole vlog to say what I want to say. But he was so tedious. It was about Biden's refusal to take the Montreal Cognitive Assessment test because it's so obvious his cognitive decline, and this person did not want to believe it, and he kept saying that it was Donald Trump, who was actually the person who had dementia. I just got tired. To go back, I said, well, if you can just have him take the test, Joe Biden, and if he passes, if he gets 100% like Trump did, then I'll admit I was wrong. I always admit I'm wrong when I'm shown that I'm wrong. I've done it in the past. But he said, well, the test was rigged. It was his personal physician, never mind that. It was the White House physician, not his personal physician. He was the physician for Obama, and before Obama for George Bush Jr., the younger Bush. It wasn't it wasn't his personal physician. It wasn't it was just like you have the other positions that are just career positions that go from administration to administration. He refused to see it, even though you can compare. Anybody could just look at, now that Trump is doing rallies, you can just go watch any rally and see him. There was just one recently in Texas, and actually he's making a mistake there. Maybe I'll get to, well, why not? Just, I'll digress. Because I only do these once a week, as I've said in the past, so let me digress and get a week's worth of vlogging done in one day. But he needs to go. He was in Arizona, I believe. He's been holding these rallies where he has support. He really needs to go into, say, California, these other states where he does not have support, and just get right into their faces and hold rallies there and let them see, let the media see how many people show up for a Trump rally in, say, California. And it doesn't have to be outside of Los Angeles. It could be in the Inland Empire, or it could be farther north. There are Republican areas, but I mean, just to, well, there's also a good reason to do that for the election, because Republicans in recent decades, they rarely win the popular vote, even though they win the electoral vote. So it's worth it going into these other states. He's not going to carry California, obviously, but he could pick up enough votes in California to add to a popular vote total, and well, and show that I asked in, I think, the previous vlog or the week before, whether Trump, because Biden is so bad, that Trump could, I predict that if he runs, well, that Trump would win, number one, but number two, that he could possibly win the popular vote. So that's a way to do it. But I don't see the point of always preaching to the choir, unless it's just to make yourself feel good, which is something I would not put past Trump, by the way. I mean, we all know his ego. But getting back to Biden, oh, and I was going to say, so you could watch any of these rallies and you can compare it to any appearance that Biden makes. Biden can hardly get a coherent sentence out. He has this horrible whispering habit that drives people crazy, but he can't help doing it. And he says things that he obviously has cognitive decline. His handlers don't want to, they get scared every time he appears in public. He was actually, I think it was in the same thing where I'm going to show you this. No, it was a different one, but it was recently. He was speaking. Now he says, now I'll take questions. And he was about, and I'm told, because they always tell him who to call, and I'm told that the first person I should call on, or first governor, I think it was this governor's conference he did recently, and before anybody could ask a question, there was a woman in the background, off screen, one of his handlers saying, okay, everybody out, thank you very much. In other words, the President of the United States says he wants to take questions, and somebody, a low-level staffer, shoos the questioners out, and Biden just stands there smiling, doesn't contradict him, doesn't say, hey, I'm the president, I want to take questions, I'll take questions. And so that's one sign. But as I said, this is a Nurse Jill edition, and this is from a recent appearance. It was about an hour, but I'm just going to show you the last few seconds. You may already have seen this video. Well, you probably didn't if you watch mainstream media, but if you watch, if you go on the internet, conservative websites, and possibly Fox News, who knows, or Newsmax network or One America network. I'm sure they at least one of them would have shown it. But well, the video speaks for itself, so just take a look. Welcome back, and now you can see why I'm calling this the Pathetic Senile Failed President Update Nurse Jill edition. You just saw his wife leading him by the hand, leading him away from the podium, and you could see him shuffling, doesn't quite know where he is, but very frail, and so that, I mean, frail physically, but he's also frail mentally. And there it is, you just saw that, and all these Biden supporters want to, I don't know how you could look at that and then, as I said, compare it to any Trump rally. I guess I didn't make the point that I really wanted to make. The main point was Trump could speak for, if you let him sit there, he'd stand there, he could probably speak all day, but he could speak an hour, 2 hours, and a command of his surroundings. He can speak extemporaneously, he speaks quickly, he speaks coherently. You can disagree with him, but the fact is that there's no denying that he has his mental faculties about him. And it looks like he might even have lost a little weight, but he's physically active, he's vigorous, and you can compare that to Joe Biden, and there is no comparison. So that was the point I was making, but you just saw the President of the United States being led away by his wife, taking him by the hand, and you could see how weak and frail he is, and that's the President. That's whom we have to rely upon to face down Xi in China and Putin in Russia, and it's really a legitimate question. Who is running that's one legitimate question. Who is the real president? The theory is that it's Ron Klain, the chief of staff, but who is running the country? And I guess the other question is, how do we all get through the next 3 years? There will be some help in January, starting on January 3rd of next year, 2023, because I expect, I'm hopeful that the Republicans will take at least one House and possibly both in the the November election, and that will help. But there's still a lot of damage he can do with an executive order. But I mean, who knows? There was just now a senator in his 40s, I think. I forget his name, but he just had a stroke. We're in real trouble with this president, and it's becoming more and more apparent. Even Democrats are turning against him. In fact, the New York Times, another digression, I guess, has just sued the government, the Justice Department, whatever, Freedom of Information Act, to get info on Hunter Biden's activities when Biden was vice president. The #1 bestseller right now is a book called Red-Handed. You should read it. I'm reading it now, and it's all the corruption of all these people, officials and corporate bigwigs, kowtowing to China. But the first story is on the Bidens, and Joe Biden and Hunter made $31 million from the communist Chinese, from all these companies that are linked to the Chinese. So the point I'm making is now even the New York Times, the very liberal New York Times, is suing to get official government records of Hunter Biden's activities. I think, and this could be a future vlog, it almost was today's vlog, whether the knives are coming out for Joe Biden now, if they're really going to go after him. And I predict, I'm not going to predict, I can't say just now. It would not surprise me. I think the odds are much better than even that Joe Biden will be impeached for being under the thumb of China for this corruption and for willfully violating our immigration laws. So we have it now on video. You may have seen it. These immigrants who are being flown into, they're supposed to be sent back to Mexico, and instead Biden is flying them into the country all over the place, and that is against the law. So there are a couple real potential grounds for impeachment, and I can almost say that if he's impeached over China, and if he I am sure that the Senate trial, that the impeachment managers from the House will be able to prove their case, and either Biden will be the first U.S. president to be not just impeached, but impeached and removed from office, or the whole country will know what he did. There will be no doubt. And I would not want to be in that situation. It could be another Richard Nixon situation where a few Democrats come to Biden and say, the game is over, you better resign or you'll be removed, and then he would just resign. But I think he's too out of it to do that. But now we're getting into the, predicting the future. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to go right to the bonus. The bonus is, you're probably aware of all this flap over Joe Rogan because he has guests on who offer differing opinions, and sometimes it's about coronavirus or other coronavirus, climate change, whatever, where there's an official government narrative that you can't, from which you're not allowed to vary. If you stray away, then YouTube takes you down. I've had my videos taken down. Facebook takes you down. I don't belong to Facebook. Will never join. I was a long time ago, terminated my membership. Will not join again. And by the way, their stock tanked the other way. Facebook, or they're called Meta now, went down, lost over 25% of its value in the last day or two, because people are moving over to TikTok, and I would have to say also because they're losing conservatives. Why would you want to be on Facebook? You get censored. But anyways, so Brian Stelter from of CNN, he's lamenting that people trust. Rogan gets 11 million listeners or viewers or both per day, and that's far more than CNN gets. And Stelter was on TV. He was lamenting that the people seem to trust, the Americans seem to trust Joe Rogan more than they trust CNN, and he's wondering why. He can't figure it out. And thanks to a website called Not the Bee, they put a little video together explaining why people increasingly don't trust CNN, or more specifically, why they trust Joe Rogan more than they trust CNN. So here's the video.
It's the kind of perfect timing that we've come to expect from that unadulterated clown show that is CNN. Earlier this week, the network's comical host Brian Stelter fretted over how so many people could come to trust independent voices like podcaster Joe Rogan and not real newsrooms like CNN.
And because figures like Rogan are trusted by people that don't trust real newsrooms, we have a problem that's much bigger than Spotify.
Now, just a couple days later, that dude's boss, Jeff Zucker, resigned after it came to light that he'd been concealing a secretive affair with a lady that worked for him. That affair was discovered during an investigation into a different former CNN employee, Chris Cuomo, who had been secretly working to conceal information to protect his own brother, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, from his own sexual misconduct scandal. Yeah, Bri, pretty tough to figure out why people don't trust that impressive little integrity factor you got churning over there. You see, on the one hand, you've got a fiercely independent voice, a dude who loathes censorship, who distrusts authority, who voted for Bernie Sanders, and invites people from across the political spectrum to have unedited, full-length conversations without pre-established questions. And on the other hand, you've got a corporate news entity desperate for ratings that pushed 4 years of what turned out to be a completely fake Russian collusion election story that invites out-of-work Democrats to explicitly lie about Republicans without challenge.
And that's what the president has done when it comes to Muslims, seeking to ban all Muslims from this country.
That dubs murderous, fiery riots as mostly peaceful, that cuts the feed of commentators when they say during a live interview that the solution to America's race problem is Jesus.
The only way to really cure that what's on the inside is understanding that Jesus Christ died for our sins. And so to me, on a micro level, it's understanding.
Oh, and just like that, we lost him.
That pretend this is unbiased debate moderation.
What do you say to those Trump voters who prioritize the economy over the president's bigotry?
That silence what proved later to be completely legitimate skepticism over the origin of COVID. That report Virginia is now a Soviet-style police state because it's being led by a Republican.
He was running as a different kind of Republican. I was told there was going to be a vest. Not a Soviet-style police state across the Potomac from Washington.
And that just shamelessly, without censure, admit being in the tank for a presidential candidate live on air.
Deciding.
We'll see.
About deciding.
We couldn't help her any more than we have.
I know.
You know what I mean? She's got just a free ride so far from the media. We're the biggest ones promoting her campaigns.
Rogan offers people a chance to hear a wide variety of voices and then decide for themselves what is true. You, O'Brien, decide what you want to be true, and then you prevent any voice that disagrees with you from being heard. That, my friend, not Joe Rogan, is the source of your trust problem.
Welcome back. That's it for this week. Thanks for stopping by. As always, I appreciate the time that you spend with me. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions for future topics, there's a place below the video where you can put any one or all three of those. If you know anybody who would benefit from this video, who would enjoy it, you could share it with them. You could subscribe. I love getting new subscribers, but most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. Look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.